What's going on, guys, and welcome back to this week's Bourbon of the Week. My name's Chris, and I'm going to be honest with you guys right up front. So I had a bachelor party this week. I usually shoot these videos on Saturday night, maybe sometimes Friday night. If I'm feeling extra frisky, I'll shoot it Wednesday night the week before, so like I'm a week ahead. But this weekend I had a bachelor party. I was going from Thursday to Sunday, came home Sunday. Look at this, I did. You know what, actually, we'll leave that for a sec. Came home Sunday, wasn't feeling too great. 3 rounds of golf in 4 days, staying up way too late, eating terrible food. I'm 30, I can't do it anymore 3 days in a row. So, I didn't shoot this on Sunday. I didn't shoot this on Monday, and here we are Tuesday night. I shot it, I was ready to go, got home from work late, but I got it all done, right? Loaded onto the computer, and what do you know? Video quality wasn't there. So we're going to try this again. It's 1 o'clock in the morning. I already know what this score is. You don't, but I do. We're going to start off with a little bit of this right here, because I need this. Everybody knows before we get started, time for the traditional shot. Let's do this. Ooh, spicy. So here we go. We've got Penelope Barrel Strength Bourbon coming in at 115.8 proof. This is a 4-grain bourbon. It comes in at 74% corn, 16% wheat, 7% rye, leaving us with 3% malted barley. This being a 4-grain bourbon is going to open it up to a different flavor profile that maybe you're not used to with a 3-grain bourbon. This is 3.5 to 4.5 years old. Sourced bourbon from MGP. They're very open about that. If you haven't already checked out my original Penelope post, make sure you check that out. I'll put it up here somewhere above me. But at the same time, I absolutely loved that Penelope, the 80 proof 4-grain. This is the barrel strength version of that. So I expect a better taste profile, maybe more of an ethanol kick, but let's get into it right now. Let's start off with drinkability. At 115.8 proof, don't drink this if you don't want an ethanol kick. It's obviously going to have a little bit of an alcohol kick to it. The surprising part is it doesn't have much on the nose. Normally the ethanol, when it's this high, you'll really get those vapors on the nose. Now, I don't know if this is just because I just took a shot of this bourbon and now I'm sipping it, but this sips pretty smooth for 116 proof. I definitely felt a little bit of that burn when I took the shot of it, but you also shouldn't take shots of 115.8 proof bourbon. And this next sip definitely sips easier. I don't think the drinkability is terrible, but at the same time, I don't want to play off the fact that I just took a shot. There is a little bit of an ethanol kick for this. It's not terrible. If you would ask me, like, if I blind tasted this, what's the ethanol in this? I'd probably put it right in that, like, 113 to 115 range. It almost feels like an extra heavy Wild Turkey 101 type of ethanol kick. When you first drink that Wild Turkey 101, it gives you that, very high rye spice. This being a lower rye with only 7% rye and those couple of mash bills that they put into this, it's 3 mash bills, I believe. This batch blended from 3 bourbon mash bills, correct. It definitely has an ethanol kick to it. I don't think I would say it's too terrible, but at the same time, it's definitely not the best. I've tasted some 117s, some 120s, some 130s that almost sip easier, not easier than this at 115, but that one, like a Wild Turkey Rare Breed, for example, is, what's that come out to? 117 proof, I believe, right? Wild Turkey Rare Breed. This comes into 116.8. So yeah, 117 proof. I think that sips a little bit easier than Penelope, but obviously that has a little bit more age to it, which is going to allow to some of those vapors to kind of dissipate throughout the aging process. This one, though, for a 3.5 year to 4.5 year aged bourbon, I don't think the drinkability is that bad. I'm going to give it like, let's say like an 8.4 when it comes to drinkability on this. So next we're going to get into taste on this. And if you don't know about Penelope, basically, like I mentioned before, they're sourcing this obviously from MGP. And a lot of companies will source things from MGP or source things from other Heaven Hill, Buffalo Trace, all these other, but it's all hush-hush. You can't tell anybody where it's distilled. But this one says right on here that it's distilled in Lawrenceburg, Indiana. And basically, if you see a bottle that says it's distilled in Lawrenceburg, Indiana, and it's not their own product, it's basically known that it's getting done by MGP. And again, Penelope isn't trying to hide it. They know that they're a source product. They kind of embrace it. But the best part about Penelope is this is also bottled, and I think it's bottled and barreled at Castle and Key. I'm not positive on that, but I'm pretty sure it's bottled. I remember from the first one, it's Castle and Key, I think, that they use. But they use a number 4 char when it comes to the staves, and they use a number 2 char when it comes to the heads. Now, the staves are the things that wrap around the barrel. That's, when you see a barrel, there's staves in it, and then there's heads. That's the top and the bottom. So number 4 char, number 2 char. We don't talk much about char on the barrels when it comes to that because I don't know enough about it to tell you that a number 4 char gives it this and a number 3 char gives it that. So if you know anything about that, please enlighten me, teach me something in the comments below. I know a lot of bourbons use number 4 char if I'm correct. I think that's like the number 1 used char when it comes to barrels. But I digress on all that. This is a very good tasting bottle. Everything about this bottle is blended perfectly. That's what Penelope's doing in this process. They're getting it from MGP. They're blending it. They're sending it to Castle & Key for bottling and barreling and all that kind of stuff. So Penelope has figured out a way to take a young bourbon, a young sourced bourbon, and turn it into something not only unique but delicious, because not a lot of bourbons out there can say that they're a 3.5-year-old bourbon that tastes this good. Now, we are talking barrel strength. When you talk about barrel strength, it's not watered down. So you're getting straight out of the barrel, which is mostly the MGP product coming out of the barrel. But again, if it's barreled at Castle & Key, then they're doing something right. Penelope themselves is doing something right to make this taste so good. And it does taste fantastic. You're getting vanilla, your caramels, your oaks. Not that much oak because it is only 3.5 to 4 years old. But the thing about this one is it's very floral. It's very grassy, it's very earthy. Everything about it is like, so a lot of bourbons will be, you'll have your situations where you want to drink specific bourbons. Most barrel strengths people will be like, oh, it's a fire. I want to be outside in the wilderness. I want to be camping with a fire pit, roasting marshmallows, all that kind of stuff. I don't get that one with this particular bottle. For me, this is like a spring, 6 o'clock. I'm grilling on the grill. It's 70 degrees with a nice breeze. I don't really want to sit by a fire with this one when it comes to this barrel strength. I want to say the word light, but I don't want to say light as in flavor. I want to say light as in like I can enjoy it when it's not freezing out or not cold, or I don't need a fireplace. I need a nice spring night. It's light, it's floral, it's earthy. It's everything about it is fantastic. Again, you're getting your vanilla. You're still getting a rye spice with this, which is actually kind of crazy because it is only 7% rye. I know that I'm rambling, but I've also been 3 drinks deep now because I had to shoot this once. I drank 2 in that one. Then I just took a shot because I was upset that the first video shot. But something about this bottle, the taste on this is fantastic. It tastes like a bourbon. There's nothing in it that stands out that is like, I don't like that. Maybe a little bit of licorice, which isn't my favorite flavor profile. But at the same time, it kind of works in this one. Let's stop rambling. I'll just give it the score. I'm going to give it like an 8.5 when it comes to taste on this. And last but certainly not least, we're going to get into price on this. And you guys know all about $60 bottles of bourbons when it comes to my reviews. It seems like every bottle I'm doing, it's either $40, $50, or $60. And I know I don't want to go too much higher than that because I don't like putting out reviews, at least not quite yet, for like, I already did the Elijah Craig $200 bottle of bourbon, which I know you want to hear about because you're like, is it worth getting? But what's my opinion on it anyway? That being said, $60 is right in that price range that we always talk about, that's getting into the premium bourbon selection. So is this a premium bourbon? So it's MGP. MGP is obviously a premium distillery. It's Castle & Key. Castle & Key is obviously a premium barreling and bottling plant. And then you just got to kind of estimate the value of Penelope and their blending process on this. And do you value that? And from everything I've had so far, by the way, I've got samples of the private select, and then the Barrel Strength Batch 5. This is the Barrel Strength Batch 6 that we're working with. And then I've had the 80 proof 4 grain themselves. Everything that I've had is absolutely fantastic. So I've got to trust that Penelope knows what they're doing. The bottles look amazing. Their marketing team is absolutely amazing. So everything that they're doing just seems like it's on the up and up. And now they're definitely on their way to doing bigger and better things next. Batch 7, Batch 8, whatever they're deciding to do next, I think it's going to be a success because they're putting their money where their mouth is when it comes to putting out stuff like barrel-proof bourbons or private select bourbons, or not worrying about spending a little bit of extra money on marketing so you can find out about this bottle because of stuff like that. But $60 is still in that premium price range where you're talking about some great bottles of bourbon that you can get for either $60 or less. But this actually is one of those great bottles of bourbon. So it's an 8.4 when it comes to drinkability, 8.5 when it comes to taste. It's definitely in that upper echelon of those two distinct characteristics when it comes to this flavor profile and drinkability. So that makes this hard. $60, a lot to ask. Pretty good drinkability, pretty good taste. What do we want to give this on score? I'm going to give this, I guess we should put it right in the middle, right? Let's give it another 8.5 when it comes to price on this, which is going to break our score down to, we don't even have to wait until after the Bourbon Bomb of the week. What's that? 8.43333333. Did I do that math right?
25.4 divided by 3 is approximately 8.47.
Well, I did my math wrong, but it's 8.47. But let's set it over to this week's Bourbon Bomb of the week, and then we'll come back to why I think this deserves to be at an 8.47 because of something that we're going to talk about at this week's Bourbon Bomb. Let's do this. So for this week's Bourbon Bomb of the Week, we're going to go over barrel proof or barrel strength or cask strength. And basically what this says is that anything that comes out of the barrel, you must be within 2 degrees of that proof to consider it to be barrel proof. So if it comes out of the barrel at 115 proof, you can't bottle it at any lower than 113 proof. And basically what this allows them to do is it doesn't water down the product. You know that whatever it comes out of the barrel at is what it's going into the bottle at. And they give them that 2 degrees just because there are environmental factors that may change that a little bit. But at the end of the day, it's got to come out of the barrel and go right into the bottle to be considered barrel proof, barrel strength, or cask strength. And all 3 of these are interchangeable. It's in some FDA code. I'll put it up here when I find it. Some rule book somewhere, somehow. But if you want more information about Penelope themselves, I'll make sure to link my original video up above of the 4-grain 80 proof. I talk about how they get their start, everything about it, including the name behind the bottle. But that's what barrel strength is, that's what barrel proof is, and that's why we've got such good bourbon here at 115.8 proof. Cheers. So I should really probably stop taking shots of 115.8 proof bourbon at the end of the night when I still have to edit this video, but at the same time, it's that good. At 8.47, you really can't ask for a better spot for a 3.5 to 4-year-old MGP source product. I don't know a lot of other people that are putting out products like that. Now, while there is a lot of sourcing going on, maybe it's not MGP, maybe it's Heaven Hill, maybe it's Buffalo Trace, maybe it's Hush Hush, but at the same time, 4.5 years at most on this bottle, and they're still putting up numbers like 8.47. You can't really beat that at all. So next time you see a bottle of Penelope on the shelf, whether it's batch 5, batch 6, or soon to be batch 7, make sure you grab yourself a bottle. You're not going to be disappointed. But that's where we're going to leave it today. Make sure you check me out on Instagram at Bourbon of the Week. Every Tuesday at 4 p.m. we drop an image of the bourbon that we're going to review, so you can go on and try and guess the score that you think I'm going to give it. If you guess the closest, I'll give you a shout out on the channel, as well as enter you in a monthly drawing to try and win some cool prizes and maybe team up with Penelope and get some glasses out to you. Also, check me out on Patreon and Discord. Come chat with us. Tell me what you're sipping on tonight. We've got a great Discord chat going, so you can come talk to us anytime over there. And last but not least, don't drink and drive. Drink responsibly. And as always, stay healthy, stay happy, stay drinking. Cheers, y'all.